What the hell am I doing here? I'll tell you what the hell I'm doing here. I'm doing the Z Drumcast. Welcome. I am your host, Mark Zapata. I am the owner and founder of Z Drums and the host of the Z Drumcast, which you can see Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, midday on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm working on others. Oh, Twitch. Did I say Instagram? No, Twitch, maybe Instagram at some point. Um, so we are on the air. Welcome to this Monday edition of the Mark C. Drumcast. It's been a crazy, awesome weekend. If you go to my socials on Instagram, you will see what I did Saturday night. I played drums for Reagan Youth and the legendary Paul Cripple, and we had an absolute blast. What a great show! What a great turnout! People were nuts. Mosh pits, circle pits, everything, and more. It was super, super fun. So, yeah, some changes coming to the Drumcast. You can see that we are expanding, and we are covering more ground. There's my co-host Louie, who desperately needs a haircut. That is in the works. I'm going to close this a little bit. You're going to be seeing this week in particular. You're going to be seeing some different things here on the Drumcast, but there's something that I need to address before we get into what we're going to do later. And that is going to be we're going to do some Monday warm ups. We're going to do some Monday rudiments. We're going to start the week off the way we should start a practice session off with some warm ups and some rudiments and some work on our hands. So the reason why I'm thinking of doing this is because I had a viewer ask a question, and the question was, um, why do you sit behind a drum set and talk for 30 minutes? That was the question. And hey, valid question. I don't mind questions. And, listen, I consider everybody's feedback. And I just simply said, because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and I think for me, a drum lesson is not all about teaching technique. I think for people out there who are learning drums, they may have teachers already, or they may be learning stuff on YouTube or whatever, and they may understand a certain amount of technique. But really, what interests me about drumming is the other stuff, the peripheral stuff, ideas, concepts, practice time, attitude, mental state, um, how we use drumming, and just all kinds of different things that are not the typical, drum lesson type of stuff. I do have built in time at the beginning of lessons to chat with my students about life stuff because a lot of times I know they come in and they have things to tell me, things that happened at school, good things, bad things, whatever it is. And I'm there to listen. And it's always good to catch up with a student. It's been a week since you've seen them. In this case, I'm going to see students today that I haven't seen in several weeks because of the holidays. 2 Mondays in a row, we were closed and I was not teaching my Monday students. So I'm excited to get back to see those students, and we'll have a little bit of catching up to do. And that's normal. That's something that helps to build the relationship between the teacher and the student, helps to build the trust between the teacher and the student. And I think it's a very important part of a lesson. Besides that, there are a lot of lessons that are taught in a drum lesson that are specifically for drums, but can be applied to a lot of different things in life. How to approach a problem, how to approach a difficult problem, how to see challenges in our lives and how to approach them, how to meet them, and how to overcome them. So these are things that are taught in my drum lessons, but can also be applied to other things. So there is a certain amount of talking, and when we're talking about ideas and concepts, and just also about how we approach things and things like that, how we feel about things, how we think about things. You got this piece of music in school. How do you feel about this piece of music? What is your confidence level looking at the notes that you understand everything that's going on, and things like that. So I do like to talk. That is undoubtedly true. But I think that we're going to do some drumming. And listen, again, feedback. I would like to hear from anybody who. So why is this only this? I would like to hear from anybody who has an opinion on the matter on the Mark Z Drumcast. You know, because it's important. I want to know what you guys are looking for. Um, all right, so let's do. I want to do. This is also kind of an experiment. You know why? Because I want to see. I've talked before on previous shows about drumless tracks and what happens when we have uh, drumless tracks and why drumless tracks are so good. Um, oh, so I can't. All right, hold on a second. Let me just see what's going on here. Still some things I'm trying to figure out about. Oh, that's really cool. All right, good. That's perfect. Okay, so drumless tracks are really, really cool when you want to work on your creativity, when you want to work on your beats and fills, because you have a variety of drumless tracks to choose from. Some of them are legitimate released music that have had the drum tracks stripped out. And so my curiosity is I played a song, an actual song to a drumless track. I'm curious whether or not, let's say, Twitch will silence that part of the video because it's not the original track. It does not have the original drums. It is a drumless track, as close as it may be to the original song, the original copyrighted song. I'm just curious as to whether or not it will pick it up. You know what I'm saying? So, also, welcome to everybody on Facebook. This is the second time I'm live streaming on Facebook. I hope you guys get something out of it. I hope you guys enjoy it. We are going to do, I'm going to find a generic drumless track, right? Because that's the other option. We can get generic drumless tracks that are not, that are basically, um, what do you call like generic tracks? Like a if it's a rock track, I'm gonna pick a drumless rock song, right? And it's going to be just a basic rock. It's probably going to sound something like an ACDC song, maybe. Let's see. No, no. All right, fantastic. That's wonderful. I called it. This sounds just like an ACDC song. Maybe not just like it, but it's very, very generic. Hold on, take a listen. It's funny because I predicted that progression because it's so generic. But yeah, that last part did definitely sound like an ACDC song. Nothing against ACDC, one of the biggest rock bands ever to do it, and that's all good. But you see what I'm saying? You can pick some drumless tracks that you can play to, that are very close to songs that you might have heard, very close to popular songs, and you can choose them by genre. You could choose them by tempo. So there are a lot of good things about drumless tracks, and they could be used, let's say, on a live stream like this, on a platform in which they will silence anything that is detected as copyrighted material. So let's try this one. This is a little more interesting, I think. I think a different drum set would be in order for that song. But again, a drumless track that you've never heard before is a great way to work on your creativity. Come up with different things. Try any kind of different thing you want, because here's the difference. When you're playing to a drumless track that you've heard before, you have an idea of what the drummer, the original drummer, laid down for that song. That's going to be in your mind. So if you have a drumless track that you have never heard drums to before and are don't have drums now, when you start jamming along, your mind is more free to do whatever it wants. It doesn't have like it doesn't already have an idea of what the drums should sound like because you've heard the song before. So drumless tracks, atmospheric, not atmospheric, generic drumless tracks from different genres are really cool. It can help you to get familiar with different genres as well and different types of drumming. So I think it's really, really cool to do some drumless tracks. And well, I'm going to try one more. And then I want to get into some warm ups, some hand exercises, some rudiments. And I want to know if you guys, whoever's watching, if you prefer more talking. I have a nice voice, right? People have told me I have a nice voice. That's like a really cool, relaxing track. Here's another thing about any type of drumless tracks that you're playing to. A song like that really helped me to kind of work on dynamics. When you're listening to different types of music, whether you're writing music or you're learning whatever songs you're learning, music is kind of like getting on a roller coaster. Think about that. If you had a roller coaster um, where you got in the car and you just went around in a circle, that would be pretty boring. Or if you just went up for a while, or if you just came down slowly for a while, that would be kind of boring. So think of music as like a roller coaster. There are ebbs and flows, there are high points and low points. Um, there's tension built and then release. That's what dynamics do in music. You bring up the intensity sometimes, you bring it down a bit, and you're up and down, and it really causes more interest in the music. So in a track like that, like a lot of the song is kind of down. But you noticed in a couple of the fills, I crescendoed a little bit and then kind of went up and down with my dynamics throughout some of the fills and added toms and things like that to the time, which I'm keeping with the ride, adding toms and stuff as part of the beat. Right. So a lot of different things we can experiment with as we are playing around with drumless tracks that we've never heard drums to before. So keep that in mind. Now, what I'd like to do is get into some Monday warm ups and basic rudiments that we can do to help keep our hands strong, fresh, coordinated, and just in good shape. Exercises like this that we're about to do and warm ups and things like that are just really good to get the blood flowing, to get the muscles warmed up. And I think you'll notice there's a difference whether or not you sit down to the drums and just start playing, excuse me, or you sit down, you do some warm ups, you get your hands warm, you get the blood flowing, and you're going to feel, I know I do when I warm up before playing, I feel like I flow better. I feel like it's more fluid. I feel like the motion is more fluid because there is that warmed up those warmed up muscles and that extra blood flow. All right, so let's do some single stroke rolls because think about this: the single stroke roll is a building block of everything we do in drums, as is the double stroke roll, because all of the rudiments that we do are combinations of singles and doubles in different rhythmic patterns. And there are also some ghost notes and some diddles in there throughout the rudiments, but it's mostly singles and doubles. The book Stick Control, the first page, where it starts out with single stroke rolls, right hand lead, left hand lead. Then it starts out with double stroke rolls, right hand lead, left hand lead. Then it starts out, then it moves to paradiddles. And then it moves to different paradiddles where the notes are permutated one eighth note over so that you'll get the double in the middle of the next paradiddle. You'll get the double at the beginning of another exercise that is still a paradiddle, but we're starting in different places. It continues on to some three strokes, and four stroke patterns with the same hands. And so that's a great way to also build coordination with our hands. But rudiments basically are made up of singles and doubles. So the first thing I want to do is a good double stroke roll. When we're playing doubles, I mean, a good single stroke roll. When we're playing singles, I like to make sure that we are kind of rigid with our movement. I want to see us doing, hold on, let me check something else out here. I want to see us doing uh, really kind of exaggerated upstrokes. And what I mean by that is just picking the tip of the stick up to the ceiling, using that range of motion in the wrist to pick up the drumstick and bring it down to the drum, up and down. So wherever you are at in your development, whatever speed is comfortable for you, just make sure that you're playing an even single stroke roll that sounds even, that you're hitting the drum or the pad in the same spot each time with each stick, that your hands are coming up relatively the same height, and that you are letting the stick rebound off of whatever surface you're playing on. Now, if you're playing on a couch pillow or your bed pillow, you're not going to get that same rebound. But the idea is to allow that stick to pop back up on its own. That helps in the process of playing the next note. Okay, so right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, getting those sticks up nice and high. Whatever speed you can do your max speed. As long as it's even, that can be your max speed. If you're starting to play a little bit faster and it's starting to get a little uneven, then bring the speed back down a little bit. And now I don't want you to speed up. I'm speeding up, but I want you to keep it nice, steady tempo. Pick a tempo that suits you. I guess I'm trying to find a tempo that I'm comfortable with. Now, upstrokes are super important because they are the strokes that we use when we want to accent something. If we're playing notes at a lower volume, our accents are going to require us to pull that stick up. That one note, pull it up for a louder stroke. So upstrokes are very, very important to work on, which is why I like to exaggerate the upstroke when I'm doing just my single stroke warm-ups. We're not going to play that way normally when we're going around the drum set or playing beats and things, because we're going to be, if we're playing faster, the faster we're playing, the lower we're going to have our sticks on the surface. But it really is a good habit to get into, to pick those sticks up nice and high, because we're training ourselves to be able to snap that stick up when we need the accent or when we want to play louder, and we want to crescendo. Double strokes. Let's do some double strokes. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. What's happening is the second note is a product of that rebound and then me redirecting the stick back to the drum head. We can do two full strokes, which is also, if we want to do slower strokes, we can do two full strokes. Which will allow us to play more even double stroke. As we get faster in our double stroke, we want to make sure that we have that second note sounding like the first note, so that we're not we want those doubles to sound even, especially when we get faster. So there are some tricks to that. But double strokes and single strokes lead us into a paradiddle, which is right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So single stroke, double stroke. Alternating hands. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Okay, and again, whatever speed you're comfortable with. You want to play at that speed. And then gently increasing the speed as you go, making sure that you're playing even paradiddles as you increase your speed gradually. Uh, Really, the most important thing we want is we want to be able to play evenly whatever we're playing. Once we get very comfortable playing something evenly, the speed will just naturally increase as we get more comfortable with the technique. So keep that in mind as we're playing our paradiddles and our rudiments. Now, there are four paradiddles in the paradiddle family. There are 5 families of rudiments in the 40 uh, drum rudiments listed in the Percussive Arts Society website, which is a group of rudiments that have been used for many, many, many years. Originating, I think, from the 26 original rudiments, which were probably um, agreed upon as the exercises to use back in the 40s, maybe. I have to look it up. I've also done a show on this. I've done a video on this because I think it's really, really cool to understand the history of these exercises in drumming and the fact that they've been around for so long, the same exercises, and they've become the standard for practicing drummers to increase their drumming skill. So that in itself, I think, is pretty awesome and amazing. So listen, these are the things I want you to do before every practice session you have, before you're playing anything, before a show. So recently, again, if you go on my Instagram, you will see some Instagram stories of me playing a show on Saturday night. I always bring my backpack, and in my backpack is a couple of pairs of drumsticks, a practice pad, um, and some moon gels. And fortunately for me, this show, I only needed to bring sticks. Um, the drummer, the headlining band's drummer, was very, very cool and gracious enough to allow me to use his equipment. Um, and sometimes you find that sometimes I have to bring cymbals, a pedal, snare drum, drum throne, who knows, whole drum set sometimes. It all depends on the circumstance and the show. So I just needed to show up with my backpack full of drumsticks, a practice pad, and before the show, I'm warming up. It was a particularly nasty night that night here in the Northeast. A lot of rain, very cold. So, especially in conditions like that, when you show up to a gig, you want to get the pad out and you want to just start doing some basic stuff to increase your flexibility, your speed, and just warm up those muscles. Uh, the other 3 paradiddles are the double paradiddle, the triple paradiddle, and the paradiddle diddle. So we add that to the single paradiddle. One paradiddle is right, left, right, right, or paradiddle. The diddle in this case is going to mean the double stroke. The para is going to be the right, left, or the left, right that we start the exercise with. So we can count it like this: paradiddle, 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 double paradiddle. And I like to use the names of these rudiments as a way to help us remember how they're supposed to sound. Um, a lot of the rudiments are named for the way they sound, and the names are kind of descriptive. And we could use the syllables and the words and the names to understand how to play the rudiments. At the very least, to remember, to jog our memory. If we think of the para as the 2 single strokes before the diddle, which is the double stroke, let's move to the double para diddle, right? Double para means 2 paras, 1 diddle. So it goes like this: para, para, diddle, para, para, diddle, or double para, diddle, double para, diddle. We could use the syllables. But more importantly, we could use the idea that the para is the right and the left, or the left and the right, and the diddle is the double. Triple paradiddle. What do you think? Exactly. 3 paras, 1 diddle. Para, 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 diddle, para, 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 diddle. Para, 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 diddle. Okay. The last one in the paradiddle family, it's a bit of a curveball compared to the first 3. A paradiddle diddle. So using the logic of the way it's named, how do you think the paradiddle diddle goes? Right again. 2 paras. Wrong. 1 para, 2 diddles. Right? So that's different from the other ones. Paradiddle diddle, paradiddle diddle, paradiddle diddle, paradiddle diddle. Fun fact about the paradiddle family: single, double, triple paradiddle all alternate naturally from right hand lead to left hand lead. Paradiddle diddle does not. So paradiddle diddle, if you start with a right hand lead, you will be leading with your right hand the entire time. When you are practicing your paradiddle diddles, as with a lot of other rudiments that we work on, there is a need for you to then stop and begin left hand lead for just as many times or repetitions as you did with the right hand. I would also maybe do half as many more with the left hand as the right hand, because as I've pointed out in previous videos, our left side, my left side, let me speak for myself, my left side is pretty much useless when it comes to coordination speed, because my left hand plays 2 and 4 on the snare, my left foot holds down the hi-hat. Now, that's an exaggeration, of course, but that's kind of the way drummers come up when they're learning to play rock beats. The right hand is keeping time, right? 2 and 4 on the snare. Right hand is playing 4 times as many notes as the left hand is playing. Left foot is not playing any notes. Of course, until we graduate and start working on independence, then the left foot can get involved. Bass drum is playing 1 and 3. But the right foot on the bass drum is also going to be playing more complex patterns with more notes. So the right foot, right hand gets far more work, especially when we start out drumming, than the left foot, left hand. So we want to compensate for that by, when we do switch to a left hand lead on whatever rudiments we are playing at the time, is to give some extra work and extra time to that left hand. I'm going to do another video and another show about how we kind of bridge that gap between the left side and the right side of the body, exercises we can do, and some tips that we can do to kind of even things out and start the process of becoming more balanced with our bodies. So I think this is a good place to start. I have no idea how long we've been on the air, but I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, I do know how much. Okay, there's my timer. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. I hope you got something out of it. And again, leave any feedback. I do take feedback seriously, and I'm always looking to improve the Mark Z Drumcast. So if you guys have any questions, any suggestions, any thoughts on what's going on here at Mark Z Drum Studios, feel free to share. Okay. My Twitch friends, my YouTube friends, my Facebook friends, have a great day. I'll see you in a couple of days on Wednesday. Don't forget, if you want to support what I'm doing here, head over to my Patreon, Mark Z Drums at Patreon, and check out the options for membership. It's really cool. You get some cool stuff, and you support what I'm doing here at Mark Z Drums Studios. So anyway, have a great day, and I will see you in a couple of days.